Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Mike Anderson. My guest this week is Fisheries Project Development Manager, Wes Ertl. Wes, what do we got going on behind us here?
Today we're up at North Lake, Washington. We are gonna, in a few hours here, we're gonna push in this slab here behind me. It's been curing for about 10 days, and then after that cure time, we'll push it. Prior to that, about 2 weeks ago, we came in with some heavy equipment, built the entrance road in, developed a turnaround in a launch site, and then prepped the underwater bed, removed some big boulders and some trees, and prepped the slope to a 12%, and then also prepped the above portion too.
Okay, and when you showed up here the first time, this is on a wildlife management area.
Correct, yeah.
What did you see?
About 3 foot high grass, yeah, and trees, yeah.
So you guys put the road in?
Yeah, we put the road in. Yeah, from start to finish, we'll take care of this project ourselves. We will sub the concrete contracting out on it though.
Okay, and when you say pour and push, what do you mean by that?
So a pour and push it's just a method we call. You literally set forms up above the water. You'll tie in your rebar. You'll pour it. It'll set up, cure for 10 days, and then we'll bring a dozer in and we'll actually shove that slab into the water on that prep bed that we have out there, and then dowel into it, and then pour another section up above.
And after that, the anglers will have a place to put their boat in?
Yeah, roughly 3 to 4 weeks construction takes with drying time, and then it should be good to go, open for business.
And a parking lot up here?
Yep, the parking lot will be up here to my left. For the most part, there'll be a staging area that's gravel, and then we're just going to keep this a little bit more primitive, where we'll just have mowed grass or whatnot that they can park in.
Okay, how many of these type of ramps do we do per year?
We do roughly about between 8 and 10 of them, just depending on the year, water conditions, stuff like that. Most of them are these pour and push type methods that we're doing on this one here, and then also we do more of a temporary style. That's a slide-in steel section. We can bolt them together, push them in and out. Kind of we use them more on new fisheries where we want to make sure they're gonna, sustain.
What does it take to put one of these new ramps in at a location?
Well, I guess, the easiest part is what we're actually doing right now, the construction of it. The most difficult and time-consuming portion of it happens before any dirt gets moved. I mean, first of all, when these new fisheries, they get identified as an up-and-comer, we'll go onto the lake, we'll look for a suitable site, which entails, proper slope in the water, terrain above the water line that we can work with, and then also proximity to a local township road or county road, so we don't have to build miles of roads in and out. Once we have established that and found a point, the next step is, most of these lakes are surrounded by private land, and we have to obtain an easement from the local landowner then, and a lot of times that's the most difficult part, is getting that easement. And then a lot of times, a guy can get an easement in an area, but then you don't have the right slope in the water, or vice versa, where you have good slope, but the landowner, isn't willing to provide access to that area. So it's kind of a hit and miss deal. Once we have that easement, we have to go ahead and we'll get our permits from the Corps of Engineers, State Water Commission, State Historical Society, and get those things and apply and get those back. And then the last part of the equation is finding a local club or entity to take care of the day-to-day, tasks and operations of the facility.
So it's not an easy task.
No, I mean, it takes quite a bit of work to bring it all together for the outcome. Yep.
Right, in a lot of cases, it's a good relationship with the landowner then.
Correct, yeah, we rely on that heavily, it's building a relationship with them, and then, and then as the years go by, keeping that relationship up too.
Okay, Wes, you guys pretty much cover the whole state. What are some of the other general maintenance, basic maintenance that goes on at ramps around the state?
We cover roughly, 450 lakes in the state, depending on a given year, they drop and add, but anywhere from, all these ramps that we're building, over time, you get high water levels, you get erosion to them, you got to rip wrap the sides of them, protect them so you don't lose that facility. Also, each year, we build and then deliver about 15 new courtesy docks throughout the state, and those go to new facilities like this, or, older docks that have been on the landscape for 20, 25 years that have been deteriorating. And then also, we got roads and parking lots that always need a fresh lift of gravel on them, or fill in potholes, whatnot. You got general signing, rules and regulations, boat directional signs, lake directional signs, and then also, vault toilets and fencing and stuff like that. Most of these easements, we got to provide, they're in a cattle pasture or whatnot, we got to provide a perimeter fence around them and then keep that upkeep of that fence too.
And anglers should be thankful too of all the fish cleaning stations that you guys also put in and take care of.
Yeah, we have a fair amount of fish cleaning stations out there on the landscape right now. Actually, this past year we had quite a bit of maintenance and downtime with some of them. As the last 10 plus years, the fishing's been so good in North Dakota that these stations have really been getting pounded hard, and it's starting to take a toll on them, and we had a lot of downtime. So this year we actually looked into a different type, a new style station, and we actually this spring, early summer, installed 7 of those and replaced some old ones. We are hoping they're going to outperform them long term, reduce that maintenance and downtime of the older ones.
And this is probably one of the most important parts of the whole project at all these boat ramps and fish cleaning stations and lakes is the partnerships with wildlife clubs after you're done with your work.
Yeah, correct. We have such a small development crew with those 450 lakes that we have in the state. It's impossible for us to take care of everything. So we rely heavily and thank heavily local entities, which are your wildlife clubs, your city and your county park boards, and then also some government subdivisions too that help us out, which include just simple dock adjustment from lake fluctuations or mowing the grass, picking up the garbage, just things that need to be done, but you need to have somebody local to do them.
Wes, you guys have done quite a few projects already this year. What do you have in store for the rest of the summer?
Yeah, earlier this year we were down in the southwest part of the state at Cedar Lake and Spring Lake, and we updated the boat ramps there. And then, here we're today at North Washington, and then there's a few other projects in the future that we hope to get to. One at Rice Lake, one on Sundheim Park up on the Yellowstone, and then a few other ones too along the way. So there's roughly 8. We usually try to get to 8 ramps a year roughly.
A lot of great information, Wes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information on what lakes have boat ramps and other amenities, visit the Game and Fish website at gf.nd.gov. For Fisheries Project Development Manager Wes Ertl and the rest of the staff here at the Game and Fish Department, thanks for joining us for this week's Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.